Hello, this is another installation in the GRE word series. If you're joining us late, we're essentially going through all the words in this book, 1100 words you need to know by Barrons. It's a pretty good book. And yeah, the thing I like about this book and this PDF particularly, it has examples of how to use the words, and it's not just a dry, list of words that a lot of the other vocabulary cheat sheets and other GRE stuff have. So yeah, so let's get into it then. We did week 2, day 1 and day 2 last time. So we're continuing with week 2, but we'll move on to like day 3, right? So under the pretext of being a surgeon, he gained entry to the hospital when interviewed by the director. So pretext is basically so you're disguising yourself or like an excuse, or it's a guise, or it's sort of like, pretext is like a reason, right? A reason that isn't really detailed, sort of. When interviewed by the director, he had to fabricate. So he had to make up, fabricate means a tale of his medical experience. But he was so adroit. So adroit is very skillful, being extremely skillful. So this is because I gave the GRE like one time already. That's why I know this word. Otherwise, people generally don't know what adroit means. He got away with it. It was not until the phony doctor began to gesticulate wildly with his scalpel that the vigilant nurse was able to detect the fraud. So gesticulate is basically to wave something around frantically, right? And vigilant is someone who's extremely focused and who's attentive and who knows what's going on, right? Detect the fraud in the annals. So annals is basically history. We covered that in a previous day. That's why there's an asterisk on top of it of medical history. There have been a number of such cases. Okay. So yeah, so now let's fill in the words. So pretext, fabricate, adroit, basically skillful, gesticulate, and vigilant. All right, pretty easy. The shootings at Columbine High School made educators much more vigilant, right? So they started to take note, and yeah. So yeah, my nephew is quite dash at making model airplanes. He's quite skillful. He's quite adroit, all right? Sorry for the terrible handwriting, I'm using my mouse. Most fishermen can dash a story about the size of the one that got away. So fabricate, right? They just fabricate about any story, or they make it up about some fish that they couldn't catch, right? Her dash of being tired did not fool us for an instant. So her pretext of being tired. So it's sort of an excuse, right? Yeah. I often marvel as I watch a traffic officer dash at the onrushing car. So gesticulate is the correct word here. All right, so let's just check it quickly. Vigilant, adroit, fabricate, pretext. Vigilant, adroit, fabricate, pretext, gesticulate. Yeah, so we're correct. All right, moving on. Pretext is basically, to lie or construct, right? To give an excuse, sort of. Oh no, all right, hold on. Yeah, an excuse. Yeah. Fabricate is to construct something or to lie, right? Completely fabricate an event. Adroit is to be skillful. Gesticulate is to, wave around, is I think what I said earlier. And the proper way to describe it is to move arms energetically, and vigilant means to be watchful. All right. So the idiom is a wet blanket, the one who spoils the fun. It's not too difficult. Everyone wanted the party to go on, but Ronnie, the wet blanket, decided to go home to bed. So yeah, they wanted to have fun, but poor Ronnie, sort of like a wet blanket. You know what I mean? Anyways. All right, moving on to day 4 then. Let's try to make this the shortest video in history. We've generally been average around 10 minutes a video, so let's try to make this shorter. As an avid football fan, I try to see every game the Jets play whenever I cajole my father. So avid is basically someone who's really invested, and avid is someone who's really invested, takes a great deal of interest into something, who's very involved into something. Whenever I can cajole my father into accompanying me, I try to do so. So cajole is basically convince someone, when you cajole your father into buying you a MacBook or something like that. So yeah, he has only a rudimentary knowledge of the game. Rudimentary is like very surface level and not a lot of knowledge. So he doesn't know a lot about the game. And since I'm steeped in it, steeped is basically completely immersed in. So the person, whoever I is an expert. He's completely steeped. He's very involved inside the game. I enjoy explaining its intricate details to him. It certainly does enhance your appreciation of football when you're aware of every nuance of the sport. So enhance is basically to make something better or to increase something, right? So in this case, increasing your appreciation of the sport of football. And nuance is the tiny details and like the idiosyncrasies that people, overlook sometimes. All right. Since my grasp of algebra is dash, I cannot solve the problem. So rudimentary, right? Since I don't know this, I can't do it. It's that simple. The parakeet refused to be dashed into entering her cage. It refused to be cajoled, right? It refused to be convinced. It will dash your enjoyment of an opera if you know what the plot is about in advance. So it will enhance, I think, is the correct word. However, that is a bit contradictory. Like, I generally do not want spoilers when I go to watch movies, right? But anyways, in reading the satires of Jonathan Swift, one must be vigilant in order to catch each nuance. Make sense? Vigilant is basically watchful, right? We just covered this. Yeah. Bill Clinton is a dash student of the social media, and is listed on Facebook. What? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this grammar is. I don't know if that's correct, but it is what it is. Okay, so avid is basically, eager. Eager is the correct thing. Cajole is to coax someone. Rudimentary is elementary, right? Nuance is a slight variation in meaning, tone, etc. So it's like the nuances, right? Enhance is to intensify or heighten. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we're correct. I don't think we need to check it, although we can. So what is it? ACEDB. ACEDB. Let's check that. So A, C, E, D, and then P. All right, so we're correct. And the idiom for today is to beard the lion in his den. So this is essentially like you go, let's say you're playing football again. Not sure why it's come up so many times in the video. And you go to, let's say, Barcelona's home ground, right? Barcelona's where Messi played in. And yeah, and you're at Real Madrid. And you basically go and, vex the fans or do something that isn't really palatable to the Barcelona fans as a Real Madrid player. So that's basically to beard the lion in his den. So it's basically to visit and oppose a person on his own grounds. So having decided to beard the lion, I stormed into the manager's office to ask for a raise. So what this means is the manager's office is the manager's den, or it's where, it's the manager's grounds, for figuratively. And what you try to do is you go on and ask for a raise. So you beard the lion's, you beard the lion in his den, essentially. That brings us to the end of today. Thank you. And I think next time, let's do the review. The review should be fun. And let's move on to week 3. All right, bye-bye. Hope you learned some words.